Welcome back, guys, to Pirate Talk Radio. This is episode 115, 115, and I hope everyone is doing well. My work has not slowed down. I know in the last episode, kind of in my little starting talk thing that I always kind of give you guys an update on what's going on. I was saying I was working, in the 60 to 70 hour range. Yeah, that's still continuing. And the lack of sleep it's affecting me. So obviously, live streams and things like that haven't been happening. And at the time of this recording, this is the first time that I've actually turned on my PC in about a week. It's been about a week. Yeah. So that tells you how much time that I've actually had to do anything other than work. So, but that's not to say things aren't happening. That's not to say that we don't have a lot going on right now in the world of gaming. I played a little bit of season 1 of Diablo. Kind of mixed on it right now, but got to play a couple hours with Captain Logan on that. I'm going to be playing some Destiny. I'm kind of going to chill this coming weekend, play some Destiny on stream, so there will be streams this weekend. By the time this comes out, though, you probably have missed at least one, unless you're a patron, because, those folks are awesome, so they get everything early. And planning to attend MatsuriCon in Columbus, Ohio, later on this, or I guess it's next month, a couple weeks. So if you are an anime fan and in Columbus for MatsuriCon, I will be at the Extra Life booth, and then also chilling out around the convention afterwards and probably before as well. So if you're coming, please do drop into the Discord, say hi. Let me know you're coming, and I'll make sure I bring something for you. So I don't know a whole lot about anime, so please don't come asking me questions about anime, because I don't know much, because I don't really watch TV and stuff. So I don't know, but I have a lot of fun looking at the cosplays and meeting all the people. So there you go. So yeah, I haven't got a chance to do a whole lot of gaming. Hoping that work is going to start to slow down. I've been saying that for a while, but I do feel like potentially there might be a slight breakthrough, and I might actually get to play some more video games, because I haven't 100%ed the new Monkey Island. We are going to be talking about that, and I had the honor and privilege to be able to play with Dread Pirate Doug, Captain Logan, and the legendary Carrillo. Unfortunately, the video that I recorded for YouTube to edit and do that playthrough on the YouTube channel, unfortunately, it was corrupted, and I have not had a chance to finish the 100%. I think the last thing I have is to take the skull around to all the 9 points of interest. So apologize for that. My plan was to have that out as a YouTube video so you guys can enjoy my firsthand reaction. But at this point, it's not going to be my firsthand reaction. I could fake it, but that's not really that cool. The other piece to that is it would just basically be a tutorial, and there's plenty of those out there. So we don't need to do that. So, but I'm going to talk about it here in this episode. So if you haven't played the new Legend of Monkey Island Part 1 Journey to Melee Island yet, first off, what's wrong with you? You're probably more busy than me, so I understand. But we are going to be talking about that. I will warn you before I get there. It has been over a week since it has launched. So usually as folks who have listened to this for a while, any sort of new story-driven content like that, from adventures to this, is something I usually try to give at least a week for people to enjoy before I deep dive and talk about all the different small features and experiences I had, just to be fair, to make sure everyone has the opportunity to experience the content as I did without any spoilers. So we will be talking about this week because, again, it has been out for at least a week now. But let's first start out with some thank yous. No, unfortunately, Chartable has not given me any more 5-star reviews. If you do want to earn a shout out on the podcast, and you haven't done so already, whatever podcasting app you have, I believe Chartable pulls in as much as it can, but the main focus is Apple, and Spotify is the apps it brings in. But if you haven't dropped a 5-star review yet with a comment, please do that. I would much appreciate it. It really helps out the algorithm and things like that. If you drop the 5-star review, any review, I read them. Reviews are great. So it helps me to hear what you guys are saying. Obviously, the best way to get a hold of me and tell me how you feel about the podcast is just joining the Discord, which all that information is in the description boxes. But yeah, that's the best way to interact with me, because usually I check the reviews, before each episode, so I can call out any 5 stars. But if you're outside the United States as well, those 5-star reviews do linger for several weeks, if not months, before they pull in. I have no idea why, but that's unfortunately how Chartable works. If you're in the US, it's pretty much instantaneous. So I know some folks said that they dropped some reviews, but again, it's Chartable, so we just have to deal with that. So no 5-star reviews to shout out this week, but we do have the glorious, the notorious, the amazing patrons who continue to throw their hard-earned doubloons, shillings, paper at me. I don't know if they're trying to hurt me and stop me by throwing, coins at me, but I'm going to pick them up and put them in my little bag and ching, 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 ching down the road. Thank you very much to Skamelt666, Lane, and Regis Stella. You guys are awesome. I appreciate it. And I'm going to have to find Christmas cards coming up soon. We did some for certain levels of tiers of your patron. If you join patreon.com/DavrimTV. If you subscribe to a certain level, you get perks. And one of the perks is an autographed and personalized Christmas card from yours truly. And I just want to state, last year's Christmas cards were badass. I don't even know if I can top last year's Christmas cards. They were they were pop up. They're like I don't remember if I showed them on stream, but they're pop up and they open, and there was a pirate ship inside. So they opened up and it was a pirate ship. So I got some pictures from folks I think in the Discord that showed me them and how they like displayed them on their desk and stuff. And what I'm looking around right now for is there it is. I need to slide over here. I have a special thank you to shout out. I got to I've sailed with this gentleman before, and I got to meet him at Festive Legends, and he sent me this absolutely amazing. And I apologize for those who are just on the podcasting apps, but on the YouTube you can see it. I'm going to hold up the camera here and I'll describe it. But it is a beautiful ceramic coaster. I'm going to display it back here on the wall, and it has the Pirate Talk Radio, the current Pirate Talk Radio logo with the Sea of Thieves skull and the thing that says Pirate Talk Radio, and it has my name. It's absolutely stunning, absolutely gorgeous. So thank you very much, Ors, for this. It was a pleasure meeting you. This is absolutely beautiful. Thank you for sending me this. It's absolutely amazing. I actually need to, before I put it up, I'm going to write Ors' name on the back and Festive Legends 2023 on it. So I remember, because my memory sucks, where that all went down. So thank you, Ors, very much. I appreciate you getting me getting me this. It's absolutely gorgeous gift. So thank you very much. Okay, let's dive into our show this week. So since the last episode, we had a patch, obviously, because we have a whole new Tall Tale system, right? We've got a whole new Monkey Island has reached the Sea of Thieves. But before we dive into Monkey Island, we have a patch. And I read through the patch notes. They're meh. Like the big keynote feature of these patch notes was Monkey Island, right? So part 1 of Monkey Island, the next part comes next in August, and the final part comes in September, so long as it doesn't get delayed. Rare. I don't think Monkey Island will get delayed, to be completely honest. They delay everything else, but not Monkey Island. Those kind of things are high profile, and stuff like that. They're not going to delay Monkey Island, but other things, we'll get into that later. So, I've got a few highlights to talk about here on the patch notes. So let's kind of go through these. So if you want to check them out, it's seaofthieves.com/release-notes. Links will be in the description box if you want to go directly to it. But there is patch 2.8.4 came out, which has brought us Monkey Island. And with it also came a few other things. A couple things were nice bug fixes, some nice performance changes for things. But if you are a fan of the Wailing or Silent Barnacle set, new swords have reached the Weaponsmith 4 gold for both those sets. So Wailing Barnacle set and Silent Barnacle set now have some new swords that you can purchase. Captain's logbooks can now be put in collector's chest as they once were, but there was a bug. So that has now been fixed, which is actually really nice, because I don't know about you, but whenever you sink a ship or find a captain's logbook and it's just that one little bit, and you got to carry that one little bit for your piddly little gold that you get for those, it gets really annoying. I mean, some of, like, there's trinkets that are worth more than those books. So it's kind of annoying that we haven't been able to keep them in captain's chests or the collector's chests for easy transport and sale. So I'm glad to see that bug has now been resolved, and you can now have the logbooks properly in the chest, and you can go sell them. So it makes it a little bit more. Sometimes I see those books floating there. I'm like, I don't want to hand that in one at a time. Like, no, I'm gonna leave it. Now that I can carry it with a whole bunch of loot, I feel more comfortable and confident in actually picking those up and taking them with me. Though it wasn't really said what this was, there is a improved video performance for Xbox Series X and Xbox Series S. So for you console players out there, looks like they're putting in some work for your consoles. Again, if you're on the Series X or S, there you go. You get some nice video performance now. And finally, probably the highlight, I would say, of these patch notes, to be completely fair. And I've praised Rare, and I will continue to praise Rare so long as they continue the excellent work that they do on accessibility. I know not everyone out there, including myself, use the accessibility features. Why? Because I don't need them, right? But there are a lot of players out there, and many that I have met at shows and stuff, that those features that Rare gets in there are literally the reason that some players are able to play Sea of Thieves, right? And that to me is an absolutely amazing thing that that Rare, they bring in folks like Sightless Combat and other folks with sight challenges or hearing challenges or whatever the case may be. They bring those folks in and they basically sit them down and say, okay, help us make this game better for you, right? They'll never be able to make the game perfect for those players, but what they are doing is they're going out of their way to do whatever they can in order to make the game playable as best they can. And I appreciate that about Rare. I think that is it's just awesome. It's just absolutely awesome that they do that and continue to do that. And with these accessibility options, they're not major, right? They're not huge. They're not game breaking. They're not industry defining. But what they're doing is making this game easier to play or making the experience better for players who have some sort of exceptionality or disability. So we have the updates to the Let the Game Read to Me. And these updates surround the narration and also riddle map reading. So again, think about it. I just, I can't say this enough. Think about this. You're not able to see the game, right? First off, I can't even I'm bad at video games. Period. End of story. I'm bad at video games. I am not good at them. It's just, I'm old. My hands don't work right. I'm bad at video games, right? Bad. If I couldn't see, I couldn't even imagine playing a video. I couldn't even imagine doing much of anything. And so these folks out there that aren't able to see or have some other sort of disability that continue through life as true inspirations, powering through, doing great things, with especially, I keep bringing up his name because he's a fantastic person, Sightless Combat, working with these different game accessory makers, working with studios, and just really trying to help them understand what it's like to play a video game when you're not able to see, and giving them suggestions or looking as far as at what they're doing. And when I say looking, I don't mean actually seeing, because he's not able to, but when I say looking, I mean sitting down in a chair, having the game on with the new feature, and him actually experiencing it his way and directly providing that feedback to developers, to game accessory manufacturers, and saying, hey, maybe this could be done differently. Maybe this needs to feel differently. Maybe this sound needs to happen. And Sea of Thieves is a much better accessible game now because of him and other folks like him and other organizations who have done a lot. And again, hats always go off to Rare because they continue to make sure that accessibility is one of their highest priorities in the game. And for most of us, a lot of these features, like the name on the fish or the narration or the colorblind mode, whatever the case may be, it means nothing really to us. Some folks use it, but to the folks who do use it and depend on that, like, this is huge. So I always like to call these accessibility features out in the patch notes, just because, again, to put a pat on the back and to help everyone understand that these things are big for the game, right? And these things are big for the gaming industry. Sea of Thieves, when it was originally built, wasn't built with all these bells and whistles to make sure everyone can play. And, we can fault them, and trust me, by the end of this podcast, we're going to fault them a lot. But where they have not faltered is their dedication and drive to trying to make the game accessible for as many players as possible. And that, to me, is just absolutely outstanding. If you've been a fan of mine, if you've listened to if you've been on my streams, if you've listened to this show, you understand that I have dedicated 10 years of my life, I'm wearing the shirt right now, to help generate money for children to pay for their medical bills or to help their parents stay at the hospital or whatever the case may be. I love, I'm not a fan of children. I'll be completely honest, and people always laugh. You don't really a fan of children. Why do you look? I might not be a fan of children. I might not want my own children, but here's the thing. Those kids, they're not mine, right? They're not mine, but they deserve everything, every shot, anything possible. And a lot of times it's just the situation that they're in. They can't control that, maybe mom and dad don't have a lot of money or whatever the case may be. They can't control that. And so I want to do my part in order to help them pay for their bills, help them have some fun we've donated through our group Xboxes, TVs, Switches, board games, puzzles, toys, whatever we can to try to make them have a little joy in their life when they're at the hospital or when they're not. We try to bring them to conventions and stuff just to let them have some fun, right? When you're cooped up in the hospital or you're dealing with something every single day of your life, having that little joy is everything, right? So these accessibility changes that Rare does for their game really do mean a lot to me, because of the things that I do in my free time, to try to really make things better for other people, right? So, and again, selfless plug, if you would like to help raise money for children, check out your local Extra Life or Children's Hospital, Extra-Life. If you Google search that, you can find that out. And if you don't want to participate in it, you can always donate. The links are always in the description box below all of my stuff, just in case someone wants to donate. Okay, the other thing that was updated, and I'm not sure how I feel about this. I'm still processing this. So we've always talked about existing issues, known issues, right? There's that section at the bottom right before the system requirements up the update. There's a section at the bottom that says known issues, right? And we know what those issues are because we see them every single patch, and they don't change 9 times out of 10. Server performance and hit registration. We've seen that down there for years. Not joking, years. If you're new to Sea of Thieves, you just found this podcast, we've seen hit registration and server performance in the known issues for years, right? I was surprised today to find that section is gone. That section is no longer there. I was like, wait, have they fixed hit registration? Did I miss this? So known issues is still there, but now instead of listing the known issues, it says to learn more about known issues in Sea of Thieves currently being tracked and their status, head over to known issues, support site article. So Rare has actually set up an entire basically tabbed experience of their website just for issues they're tracking. And you can click on them. So, for example, we just talked about hit registration. We can see hit registration. The last update it had was on 6/23/2002. So over a year ago was the last update they made on hit registration. And it says combat, melee, and hit detection. You can click into it, and it says by Rare CSM, updated June 23rd, 2022 in areas of intense movements, simulation, same thing we've always seen at the bottom of the thing. While small improvements to hit detection continue to arrive in our regular updates, we continue to investigate and identify further larger scale improvements to improve player combat experience. Update. An improved to accuracy of players' firing location when shooting a ranged weapon was updated in release 2.5.3. So that was a year ago. So there you go. So now you can actually come in here and see what they're tracking. Now, are we going to get like minuscule details about what they're doing? No. And I don't expect that. But you know what I like about this? Transparency. I like that we now have transparency because there's a lot more known issues on here than I thought, right? Because usually we got server stability and we had hit registration, and that's what we got. I like the transparency here. We have Pirate Lord interaction prompts. We have allegiance levels. We have HUD issues. Legend of Monkey Island copyright music issues. We have a few things that got resolved, which I like how it's marked resolved, and I can dive in and look. The Bonnie Fort commendation, stability for server performance. We know about that one. Players are unable to purchase June cosmetic bundles for real world currency. Beachcombers bounty cosmetics got resolved. Lavender beard, Steam Xbox Live sign in displaying incorrectly. Combat hit registration. It's all right here. And you can see the last time they touched it. So for example, Lavender Beard, players receiving this error in the Turkish region. This has not been updated since March of this year. So you can literally see when these things are getting touched, right? And I like this. I like the transparency. I don't need in-depth details about what you're actually, working on in your line items. That, that's for internal use. Keep it. But the fact that you are being transparent on all the major issues that you're tracking and you're giving us that line of sight and you're telling us when you're updating them, I like this a lot. Now, for most players, they're never going to look at this most likely. Probably most of you on the show are going to depend on me to look at this and tell you about it. And that's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy to do this. But for me, a person who likes transparency, I really like this. And I'm glad that Rare has now publicly put it on the patch notes in place of just that bullet point of hit registration stuff. I really like this. I'm sure that this has existed. It's just never popped up and highlighted the way it did. Because again, I could probably go back to old release notes and see if maybe that link was there, and maybe it's always been there and I just didn't notice. But the only reason I noticed today was because I didn't see hit detection on there. And now that that's gone and I saw what was replaced there as far as this link, now I know it's here. This could have been here forever. Don't know. But I like it. I like this site a lot. So again, you can check this out. Again, we'll have all the links in the show notes for the release notes. You just scroll to the bottom to the known issues section. It gives you a link that takes you here, and you can check out what's been updated and everything, which is I really think it's cool. Okay. Now the question. I think we're going to end today. We kind of slammed Rare last time. We slammed Rare last time at the end of the episode. So let's end today on a positive note. And so before we get to the positivity, before we get to the power of positivity, and I should say the power of root beer, We'll discuss my issues with with the recent announcement of season 10 delays in the video that they put out for that. And then we will end with the positive piece, which is the absolutely beautiful, absolutely outstanding, well put together, bug-free, in my opinion, beautiful tall tale of Journey to Melee Island. We'll end with that today. So if you want my opinion on Journey to Melee Island, you're going to have to sit through the season 10 delay discussions. So here we go. So this week, a video came out, and it was to announce the delay of season 10. This is now the second delay of season 10. The first delay was adding 8 weeks or 2 months to the season. It was a stealthy, I think, underhanded crap way of doing it, where they just ghosted it into the game. So if you paid attention and saw it, which people did, you were pissed. And then they talked about it on the podcast a few days / weeks later. Way too late, right? People are getting excited to see the new content. We all know how Sea of Thieves goes, right? We play through the content. Most folks will get through it within a week. Or the higher echelon, the top percentage of people will get through it in a day, a little bit down, a week. Some people take them a month. Few people don't even get through it to the end of the season. No excuses this time, because it's been extended another 3 months. About 3 months. Wait, August, September. Yeah, about 3 months. So season 10 has been delayed to October 19th. So basically, if they hit this deadline of October 19th, we had the original 2 months. Now we have 3 more months. So we're at 5 months. We're almost at a half a year that this season has now been delayed. On top of what was already a 4-month season? So we're talking almost we're talking 9 months. We're talking an entire pregnancy of season 9. 9 months on season 9. That's crazy, right? If I did that right, it was supposed to be 3 months. This one was 4 months. Then we delayed it 2 months, 4, 5, 6, and then 3 more months. Yeah. So nine. I mean, I guess it makes sense. Season 9 for 9, right? 9 months for season 9. And again, I thought season 9 was fantastic on what they did, right? They cleaned up a lot of stuff. I was high praise of season 9. Here's the problem. There was 0 content for season 9. Yes, you had the, hey, let me do the Reaper chest again, which again, I think is absolutely asinine. And it's their old school of thinking of using cold, disgusting leftovers and saying it's new just because you created a new accommodation for it and put some new shiny thing behind it. It's not new. I've already done this multiple times over, but now you're making me do it again. Dumb, stupid, bad design, bad development. I thought we got past this. Then we had the Chest of Fortune. That was a new piece of content, and I liked how it was implemented as far as implementing it into a feature to drive player engagement, right? Into the Fort of Fortune to drive that player engagement, either PvP or PvE. It was a fantastic idea. It was a fantastic thing to do to invigorate the play of that particular feature. Do I have it done? No, because I don't really care to sit there and do Fort of Fortunes. I will steal them when I can, and that's about it. That's like all I care about. Like, I'm going to steal them, or if I'm with a crew that wants to do them, I'll do them. I'm not going to go out of my way to slam through them just to get that check mark. I don't really care about the cosmetics. They're neat, but I'm not going to use them. So I'll get it done when I get it done. But it has definitely driven player engagement. It has driven that PvP. It's driven friendly interactions as well, where people are working together. I think it was absolutely outstanding. It was a great way to do it. Now, that was promised that was going to move in future seasons. The problem is, if we never get to the next season, it's never going to move. So you got more time to do it now, out of the Chest of Fortune, out of the Fort of Fortune. So let's break down this video, okay? So there was a few things. First off, let's put a timeout before I start raging out. Let's say this: the last time they delayed the season, They did it stealthily and didn't tell anyone. And that to me is absolutely a slap in the face to the players. If you're going to do that, you need to announce it. And in my opinion, you need to announce why. I'm okay with things not being ready, but give me something. Give me something. If your shit's not ready, delay it. I would rather something come out that's clean and crisp and good with minimal bugs and issues than have something that comes out half-baked, half-assed. And we know that Rare is notorious for half-baked, half-assed stuff. We know that. We've seen it. We continue to see it. It's an issue that all live service games have, but unfortunately Sea of Thieves seems to fall victim from it a lot more than others. So I appreciate that Rare came out and got ahead of this and announced it. I'm glad that they told me it's not ready. I'm glad that they told me we're going to continue to work on it and make sure this is good. Here's what I didn't like, right? Here's what I didn't like. So they said that Season 10, the core main feature of Season 10 is ambitious, and it touches so much of the game, and it's just not ready. What is it? Like, you don't have to, give me my cupcake and say happy birthday, okay? But give me something. Don't just tell me the core feature, and don't just tell me it touches everything. Give me something. Give me a tidbit. Give me a tease. No, a tease is not, it touches everything. A tease is not, it changes or it adjusts the sandbox and gives you a new way to play. That's cool. And it tickles the gooch a little bit, but what is it? Like, tell me something, right? Like, for example, I had a conversation in Discord the other day. Captaincy, right? You could give me, and they did on the Xbox Showcase thing, you could give me a bullet point. Own your own ship. New voyages. New ship cosmetics. Right? You're not giving me anything that if you can't execute on, ruins it, right? Own your own ship. Well, yeah, but the purchase cosmetics aren't working. So I didn't say that you were going to have working loadouts. I didn't say that you were going to have all that stuff. I just said you could purchase your own ship. That's all I said, right? You can buy your own ship, right? Well, then once it comes out, you can say, oh, you can also save all your cosmetics, but but that's not working right? So then if you say I could buy my own ship and customize it and save the loadout and that doesn't work, now I'm pissed. But if you just say buy your own ship, boom, I've delivered that. Regardless if it's broken on saving your cosmetics, I delivered on what I told you I was going to do. New cosmetics, right? The trinkets. You don't have to tell me, well, you can get paintings and you can get skulls to put on this and you can get an anchor and you can get this and you can get that. I just said new cosmetics. So therefore, when it comes out, if you get one painting and that's it, guess what? That's a new cosmetic. I'm not going to be pissed. You told me I was going to get new cosmetics. Boom. New cosmetic. Maybe just the ship plate. Maybe there were no trinkets because you didn't get it done in time. But if you say new cosmetics, that plate is a new cosmetic. Guess what? You delivered on your promise. That's what I'm talking about here. They want us to hang on. They want us to continue to play and invest time in their game. But they're crushing the momentum. They're crushing the will to play. They're crushing the want to log in every day. Why? People are done with Season 9. And yes, there's commendations to do. And yes, I personally play regardless. If I've got people to play with, I'm going to play and I'm going to have my fun and I'm going to, do my own adventure. But for the majority of the players, that's not how they play. They want something to achieve. They want something new to achieve. And Rare knows that. But now that you've delayed it for 5 months plus the already content dry Season 9, we're talking 9 months that you're asking players to be patient. As Mike Chapman says, bear with us. Buddy, the bear already left the room, okay? You can't ask us to bear with you. And I'm going to get to Mr. Chapman here in a minute on that. And then it was brought up, well, if season 9 or season 10 is delayed, won't season 11 be delayed? And the response was, well, we're now going to take the key feature of season 11, which is big and ambitious, and roll it into season 10. Well, hold on. You couldn't get season 10 done in time because it's so ambitious. And then you have an ambitious idea for season 11. And now you've told us not what these ideas are, but you're going to take a second ambitious idea and now roll it into 10? It doesn't make sense to me. You couldn't get your first thing done on time, but now you're going to take the next thing and try to roll it in. And it doesn't compute. It doesn't make sense. And for players, even me who love the game, I don't know what you want me to be excited about because you're not giving me anything. Telling me that you're going to change how the game, you could just be changing the UI. That changes the sandbox. That changes a whole bunch of stuff. I would be excited about it, but would it get me to jump in and play 16 hours a week? No. I would stick to what I'm doing right now, maybe 4 or 5 hours a week. You got to dangle something out there. You got to put the carrot out there a little bit. Give us something. And give it specific enough that we can be excited, but broad enough that if you have to make tweaks to it, you don't disappoint, right? There's a fine line there. There's a very fine line there. And Rare does not know what that line is. Their line is, we keep everything secret from you until it's done. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I get things like Monkey Island on those big announcements. I get things like Pirates, the Pirates of the Caribbean on a big announcement. I get those things being secret. Every game has seasons. Stop acting like your seasons are something special. Just give us something to be excited about. Something to hang on hope that after season 9, there's actually going to be something to do. And by the way, after acknowledging that players are going to be disappointed in this, giving me a list of your events that are coming up for the next 3 months, and again, not giving me any details about them, not giving me any dates, is lame. Because I'm not excited about your Golden Glory weekend. I'm not excited about your Legends week. I'm not excited about a summer event that we don't know anything about. Well, you'll know more once we're closer. Then how the hell am I going to be excited for it? Give me something. We've got a summer event coming up we have a summer event coming up soon. You'll know more about what that entails, but in that event, you will be able to unlock this amazing Captain Hook inspired ship. Boom. I'm excited now because I know what I get to get. We have a summer event coming up this soon. You'll know more about the rewards, but I can tell you it's going to revolve around rubber chickens. Boom. I got something. Well, what does a rubber chicken mean? What does that mean? What am I going to do with rubber chickens? Oh, that ties into Monkey Island. Give me something. Just giving me a list of events that we've heard of before, that we've done before. Speculatively, the summer event could just be the Olympic thing that they've done in the past, the Summer Games thing. We've done these before. Give me something to be excited about. Your events don't excite me because 9 times out of 10, they repeat from the past. Give me something to be excited about. Don't poo-poo, don't pee in my Cheerios and then expect me to get excited when you say, hey, but we have events coming up. We're not going to tell you where they are or when they are. We're not going to tell you what you get out of them. We're not going to tell you what you do in them. We're just going to tell you that they're coming up soon. That's not exciting. It's just exactly what you're doing with Season 10. Season 10's coming, but we're not going to tell you when. Well, they said October 19th, but at this point, I don't believe them. When I see the official servers are shutting down for Season 10, then I'll believe October 19th. When they announce that tweet on like the 17th, 18th, and they say, hey, servers are going to be coming down to prepare for season 10. When they announce that and the servers go down, then I'll believe that they're actually going to do season 10. Until then, at this point, I've lost all credibility in your skills to hit a timeline. So maybe that's why they're not giving us details on that, because Golden Glory, they said, is coming up in like August, or I think maybe that's going to be December because we didn't get everything done for that. Legends Week is coming up in, let's just say September. Probably shouldn't have said that because it's actually going to be November because we don't have everything ready for that. You know, those kind of things, right? Just give me something. Give me something to stay engaged with and excited about. That's all I ask. Like, community weekend's going to be fun. I always have a lot of fun on community weekends. And again, here's what we got. Community weekend is right around the corner. It's going to be around Talk Like a Pirate, which I believe is in September. And it says, with a new feature that we've never seen before. How can I get excited about that? How? I don't know anything about season 10. You want me to be excited about it? Don't know. I don't know about anything about season 11. You want me to get excited about it because it's getting rolled into season 10, so I get it sooner. I don't know what it is, so I can't get excited. A new feature. Give me something. Just one tidbit, a morsel. Just, let me just lick the corner of the cake and get just a little of the icing. Just a little bit. That's all I want. Just a taste. And then I'm excited. And then I can drive excitement with the audience, on stream, with the podcast, on Twitter, whatever. I can drive excitement if you give me something. I don't know how they expect players to stay excited and engaged when these press releases continue to be so secretive. And when they continue 5 years down the road, still unable to figure out proper timeline and execution. Which leads me to when they mentioned the roadmap and what players should get excited for. Look, when I started playing this game in year 2, I learned something really quickly. Back in year 2, this was before seasons for all of you newer folks. Their dev cycle was they would put out an update. According to them, once a month, and then they would put out a large update. Then they would put out a large update every 3 months. Sounds familiar, right? They usually hit the monthly update most of the time. It was very, pun intended, rare for them to hit their 3-month update. Usually it was delayed a week, a month, 2 months, maybe 3 months. It's the same shit they're running into now. And the point of when they came out and announced seasons, they specifically said the reason we're doing seasons is to be able to provide players a yearly roadmap with understanding features coming every 3 months, general bullet points, every 3 months, and to allow us to make sure that we are not disappointing players and sticking to a timeline and a roadmap. They still can't do that. The same issues they had 4 years ago are the same issues that plague them now. And in my discussions with people this week talking about this delay, the first thing I want to say is I do not want anyone at any time blaming any of the folks actually coding or designing what is going into this game. The developers and the designers, I don't want anyone out there to hate on because they're working their asses off to get this stuff in. Now, the code's not always great, whatever, but they're working their asses off to get this stuff done. I blame the leaders at Rare on this. The leaders should be setting those designers, those developers, the musicians, the art folks, they should be setting them up to succeed by setting realistic parameters and expectations around their timeline. Okay? Easy said than done, right? Mike has talked about this before, where you get your whiteboard, you get your little post-it notes and your pre-dev and your ideas. Then you move those over into, okay, we're going to build this into season blah, 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 and build this into season blah, blah, blah. And then as we start developing this, we see that we can't do that. We can't do that. You know, they're biting off more than they can chew still. And they're not setting themselves up. They're not setting their teams up for success. They're over-promising and under-delivering. And yes, eventually we will get season 10. And potentially it could be awesome. Potentially it could be great. But they promised it to us 2 months ago. They promised it to us 3 months from now. They've under-delivered from their promises. In the world of customer service and the world of anything dealing with people, customers, clients, whatever, you always under-promise so you can over-deliver. You want to tell them, hey, I'm going to get this done for you, and then do more and delight them. Since I've played this game, aside from I've been delighted more times than I can count with what they put out there. But I've been delighted very few times getting that thing on time. And that again comes down to leadership setting their teams up to fail because they're putting too much in these updates and cannot execute on them effectively. And it's a very good reason why they don't tell us ahead of time what's going to be in these updates. Because that is a telltale sign that they know there's a problem with execution. But the bigger issue is they're still not fixing it 4 years later. I wrote down in my notes here an analogy for this. And it reminds me of, you've seen it in cartoons, you've seen it in animation films, the annoying kids in the back seat of a long road trip. Mom, are we there yet? No, not yet. Well, how much longer? Not yet. What? Are we there yet? No. Well, how much longer? It's going to be a while. Are we there yet? You know, that is basically what's happening. The players are saying, you promised us that this road trip was going to take 3 months. We hit 3 months and we said, are we there yet? And you're like, nope, we're not quite there yet. Well, how much longer? Just not ready. Well, are we there yet? Not quite. It's going to be another 3 months. What? It's the road trip analogy. The kids don't understand the time frame. So the parents aren't going to tell them it's going to be an hour because the kids have no idea how long an hour is. The kids just want to know how much longer. And the parents' response is, we're not there yet. Well, that's not a good response. Give them something. Give them your phone and say, hey, watch 4 YouTube videos that when they say at the bottom there, the YouTube video says 20 ... something. If you see 20 ... something, watch 4 of those and we'll be there. Now, it's only going to take them, if the parent's smart, it's only going to take them 3 videos to get there. But you build in that buffer. You under-promise and over-deliver. So when the kid gets to the end of 3 and starts 4 and the parents are like, hey, we're here. The kid's like, really? I didn't even get through the 420 video. 420 video. That's funny. Rare struggles with this. And it's a leadership thing. I have been in a lot of businesses that have had this struggle. And it's honestly, it's a leadership thing. It comes from the top. The top are not setting realistic expectations and they're not executing and they're continuing to make the same mistake. It's the definition of insanity. Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting it to get better, even though it's not. It's the definition of insanity. So Mike says that he wants to he wants us to bear with them and that they remain ambitious for the future of the game, and they want to remain ambitious in their ideas of doing things. And I love that. I think Mike has a lot of great ideas. I think Mike has done a lot of amazing things for this game. I think Mike's amazing. But what I would tell Mike is maybe be that ambitious, but realistic. It's good to be ambitious. Some of the things that they've done in Sea of Thieves is so ambitious, and when it's out, it's amazing, and it makes the game awesome. The problem is ambition and execution have to marry up. You have to be ambitious to make cool new things that delight the players. But you also have to execute so it's deliverable in the time that you stated it's going to be delivered in. And I'm sure many of you out there won't agree with me. I know I've gotten into discussions. But here's the thing. Does Rare owe us anything? No. It's their game. They can do what they want. But on the flip side, we don't owe them anything either. And everyone has to remember that. We are the players. We are the customers, right? If you go into a restaurant and they serve you a piece of raw chicken, you don't owe them money to pay for that because they didn't cook it properly and it's a health concern. We don't owe Rare playtime. And many times over the course of these 5 years, players have shown Rare through their lack of playtime that they are disappointed in their execution. So for those folks out there who say Rare does not owe us these tidbits of information, they don't owe us anything, I would disagree. They owe us everything, because without us, the players, they don't make money, they don't have jobs, they don't have a studio. Without the players, Rare cannot function as a business. So Rare owes us everything because we are the reason they can do what they do. All right, Monkey Island. Monkey Island. Before I even get into my stuff, I want you to pause right now. And if you're on your podcasting app and you're driving, don't do what I'm about to tell you to do. When you're stopped, it's going to get you your 5-star review shout out. All right. So listen up. I want you to pause right now on your podcasting apps. I want you to type in a 5-star review and tell me your favorite part. Tell me your favorite part about this show. No, tell me your favorite part about Journey to Melee Island, the part 1 of Monkey Island. If you're watching YouTube, this would be the time that the famous like, subscribe, ring the little ding dong bell, and leave a comment. Leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite part of Journey to Melee Island was, because I loved it. So right now, when it's safe, like, subscribe, ding, 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 and tell me what your favorite part is. So as I mentioned in the top of the show, I had the distinct privilege and honor to be able to have a great crew to experience this new content. I think it was the first day. Yeah, the first day. And I got to sail with Dread Pirate Doug of Fest of Legends and also of Race of Legends. I got to sail with Captain Logan of the Keel Hall podcast. And I got to sail with Captain Carrillo, who's a fantastic, amazing human being and a great Twitch streamer. My video got corrupted, but if you are interested in checking out the hilarity that was that night, you can go over to Carrillo's stream on Twitch. Links will be in the description, or Captain Logan's stream on Twitch. Links will be in the description. Check out their videos that are on their channel, and you can see our playthrough of Melee Island. I was about to pee myself so many times laughing. We had so much fun, and it was great. I did not have the music on because I was recording it for YouTube and I knew there was a copyright issue. But since then, I have went out to and listened to the music, watch streams and listen to the music. Robin and the team over there at Rare knocked it out of the park. The music and the atmosphere that the sounds created in this island are absolutely fantastic. From the time you get there to the time that you end, the sound effects, the music is absolutely on point and really just brings the magic, the adventure, and the emotion to what you're doing. It's awesome. As far as the characters, the addition of the full voice acted NPCs is an experience in Sea of Thieves that we've never seen before. All of these characters that you can talk to that have a voice, they talk to you, and they all have their own characteristics, their own like story, their own comedy, their own seriousness. Like, you can now feel kind of emotion for some of these characters in Sea of Thieves who are nobodies, right? Some of these pirates in the Scum Bar, they're nobody. But adding that voice to them makes them somebody. It gives them life that Sea of Thieves hasn't seen before, except for some of their main characters during Adventures in Tall Tales when those characters are interacted with. The fact that you just walk into the Scum Bar on Melee Island and just start talking to anyone and they all have a unique thing to tell you vocally is absolutely outstanding. Loved it. We spent this Tall Tale it probably takes less than an hour. We spent a good 4 hours on this because we talked to everyone. We adventured out everywhere. I wanted to see everything. I wanted to try to get places we weren't allowed to go to, and there were stoppages and I couldn't get there. I loved it. And I just loved the life that small section of Melee Island had. From the nobody pirates to all the way up to Guybrush, LeChuck. You had the Captain Skull from the Tall Tale, and now I'm blanking on the name of the skeleton from Monkey Island, who was hilarious. Just completely blanked on his name. But the interactions from them and the pirate council that was there, and the chef and the poodles. It was a magical, enjoyable, hilarious experience from the moment you see that island as you come out of the fog. And the little details. For example, fishing. You can fish and catch a red herring. Like, meme worthy, right? But it's used. It's actually used in the adventure that you're doing to solve some of the puzzles. It was hilarious. We're just like, hey, we had a break when someone had to go get a drink or use the restroom. We're like, hey, I wonder if you can catch any fish here. A red herring. Like, it was fantastic. And the way they did the puzzles in this, where it wasn't a book that told you pretty much exactly where to go and what to do. They gave you kind of a map and someone to talk to, and then you had to figure it out. It was a very good homage and a very good taking the point and click adventures of Monkey Island and bringing them into Sea of Thieves in a way that it's still Sea of Thieves, but it's also Monkey Island. And I thought that the way they did that, where you had to kind of figure out the clues from finding the coins laying around to making the root beer meat, to feeding it to the poodles, to the explosive candies. It was so cool because you could venture around and see like, hey, this is locked. So you're like, oh, that's interactable. Well, let me try to find a key, or let me try to find something that I might be able to use to do that. And it was like, you go to a cell and it's like, oh, this is locked. Well, I found some explosive candies and I can buy fuses. So get the coins, buy the fuses, get the explosive candies, put candy in lock, put fuse on candy, blow up lock, open door. Like, it was a puzzle, and it was done so well. I'm sure there's people out there who were frustrated. I'm sure there were people out there who struggled with it, and that's fine. You know, that's the style of game that was. But I thought it was well done, and I'm not smart when it comes to those puzzles. I'm not smart when it comes to those things. And so I thought it was challenging enough that you had to think, but it wasn't so hard that you just wanted to walk away. I thought it was great. Excuse me. And then, like, again, I didn't have a chance to play the Monkey Island storyline, but the fact that the weapon you use to fight off LeChuck's soldiers is a bottle of root beer is absolutely hilarious to me. And that the poodles eat the gelatinous, like, guards. Oh my, I was laughing so hard playing this. It was funny. It was a puzzle. It was just an absolute pleasure. It was an amazing experience. And like I said, I didn't get it at 100%. I still have to take, what is it? Scully. Is it Scully? Oh, I'm going to screw it up. Someone's going to yell at me in the comments. Whatever. You had to take the skull around to all the different points. That is another combination. There's 9 points of interest around the city. You have to take that skull to each of the points of interest, and then you can 100% it. But it's definitely 100%able in the first go. You just have to, again, make sure that you're doing some of these things before you move on, right? But the characters were well done. They even had guys from the Yogcast voicing some of the characters. It was just a glorious thing. And in my opinion, and this is probably going to be a controversial opinion because of the IP that we had in Pirates of the Caribbean, I think this Tall Tale was done better than any of the Pirates of the Caribbean one. First off, it was relatively bug-free. I tried to break things. I tried to go places I wasn't allowed to. I tried so hard to break things, and I couldn't break it. I black screened a couple times, but I couldn't break it to a point where it was just like, well, can't go on, can't, whatever. But I will say, I enjoyed the Pirates life because I liked the Pirates of the Caribbean movies. I haven't played Monkey Island, and I loved this more than a Pirate's life. It had all the feel-good bits, from mystery to combat to hilarious moments to puzzles. I had an absolute blast with this. And I hope this recipe that they used to bring Monkey Island to the Sea of Thieves, I hope this is an indication with the voiceovers, with the way that they do puzzles. I hope this is a continuation on future adventures and future Tall Tales. I hope this is I hope this is a new leaf that has been turned over in how they present and do stories inside Sea of Thieves, because this had all the magic for me. It had all the magic. And many of you know, I get little antsy and I want to go shoot something, or I want to go attack another ship. I had a blast playing with the folks I did. I had they were going through some voiceovers, and I was out exploring, going to talk to the blind man who was the lookout on top of the tower, or on top of the hill. Like, they were all like, "Hey, where'd he go?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm up here just talking to the blind man." And they're like, "What? You're going ahead?" I'm like, "No, I just wanted to adventure around." Like, I talked to some people, I giggled, I laughed, and I'm like, "Okay, I want to stop talking to people. I want to go," and then I'll come back and talk to people. It was just great. And I hope they continue this, because it truly was an amazing and fun experience to play through this. And I look forward to going back in and 100%ing. It's just not on my priority list right now. But kudos to Rare. I'm so glad they did this. Again, I was kind of wishy-washy on the Monkey Island thing because, again, it isn't a big IP. If you're a fan of Monkey Island, then you are a fan of Monkey Island and you're excited about it. If you're not a fan of Monkey Island, it's kind of like, yeah, okay, I guess I'll try it. But it was well done. The story was great. I had a lot of fun with it. Characters were amazing. The voiceovers were fantastic, and I look forward to the next adventure next month. But if you haven't done Journey to Melee Island, go do it. Spend some time. Don't rush. Do not rush. You don't have to worry about getting invaded. You don't have to worry about PvP. Enjoy it. Look around. See all the little details. Make sure you check out all of the points of interest, which are signified by a little pen vial thing. If you're trouble finding them, look for the little vial, the inkwell. Talk to all the characters because the voiceover work was fantastic. Listen to the music. Really just dive into the overall experience. Don't just rush through it because you can. Just enjoy it because it is a very, very solid piece of development work. It's very well designed. And I have to give all the kudos to Rare. No matter how much I'm irritated about them on certain things, I will give credit where credit is due. And this particular adventure was done well, and I'm very satisfied with it. And I can't wait to play the next 2 installments coming up. And hopefully they'll record properly, and you all can play along with me. Guys, thank you very much. I always appreciate your love and support. Remember to follow me on all your social media. Even though I don't really like to be on social media a lot, you can always DM me. On Twitter, you can join the Discord. That's the best way to get a hold of me, is join the Discord. And make sure you hit the like, subscribe, and all the, you know what to do. But thank you very much, everyone. Take care of yourselves and each other. And I will see you next time on Pirate Talk Radio.